Everyone was busy preparing for a special Easter service at St. Bart's Church. Everyone except Ebenezer Nezer. All Ebenezer cared about were the rows of mechanical chickens that laid colorful plastic eggs that were dumped into Easter baskets on a conveyor belt. "I'm going to build a place called Easterland," Ebenezer told his friends. "Oh no," said little Edmund Gilbert. "You're going to build Easterland right on top of St. Bart's Church." That night, Ebenezer got a visit from his grandmother. She loved Easter, and before she died, she took Ebenezer to St. Bart's Church every Sunday. "You've got Easter all backward and upside down," his grandmother told him. "You'll be getting another visitor tonight, so you can figure out what I mean." At midnight, Ebenezer got another visitor. It was an egg-shaped music box angel named Hope. She took Ebenezer for a visit to St. Bart's Church. Ebenezer's grandmother was sitting in the third pew with a little boy. "This is Easter past, and that little boy opening the empty Easter egg is you," Hope told him. "It's just like the tomb in the Easter story," his grandmother said. At that moment, sunlight poured through a stained glass window that showed the birth of Jesus. "I don't understand,"
Excuse
Ebenezer
me.
told the little angel. So Hope pulled him back to the factory, where Ebenezer saw himself all grown up. Ebenezer was asking the inventor, Seymour Schwenk, if he could make some mechanical chickens that lay plastic eggs around the clock. "Sure, but Easter's not about plastic eggs," Seymour tried to tell him, but Ebenezer wouldn't listen. Hope once again yanked Ebenezer away, and he suddenly found himself outside the house of little Edmund Gilbert. "This is Easter present," Hope said. "A present?" Ebenezer asked. "For me? Oh, you shouldn't have." "No, not a present, the present, the here and now," Hope told him as they looked through Edmund's window. "Mr. Nezer just doesn't understand about Easter," Edmund told his mom and dad as he began to cough. Edmund's cough got louder and louder as his mom and dad tucked him back into bed. Ebenezer turned to Hope and asked, "Just how sick is he?" "Very sick, I'm afraid." Suddenly, Hope brought Ebenezer back to St. Bart's Church. He gazed up at the beautiful stained glass windows as Hope began to sing. "There's a story that started on Christmas, when a baby was born in the night, and those who came far, who followed the star, were seeing a heavenly sight. He was born and he died almost 2,000 years ago. He laughed and he cried, he felt all the fears we know. He hated injustice, he taught what is right. He said, 'I'm the way and the truth and the light.' His friends soon believed that he was the one, the Savior, Messiah, in fact, God's own Son. But others, they doubted. They did not agree. So they took him, they tried him. He died on a tree. God has made a way for all who mourn and grieve. Death will never be the end if you just believe. There's nothing to fear, nothing heaven knows, for he died for us to give us life, and to give us hope he rose. If you believe in Jesus and what he did for you, the hope of Easter is life everlasting," Hope told him softly. Ebenezer smiled. "So this is what Easter is all about." Crash! Ebenezer jumped as a huge wrecking ball smashed through the stained glass window of the church, and the glass burst into thousands of tiny pieces. "Welcome to Easter Future," Hope shouted as they ran into the street. Ebenezer didn't like what he saw. The children no longer had an orphanage to live in. Policemen no longer chased thieves. Without the hope of Easter, no one is willing to risk his life for someone else, Hope explained. Then Ebenezer saw Reverend Gilbert standing by the tombstone of little Edmund Gilbert. "Hope, what have I done?" Ebenezer shouted. "It can't end this way. We have to change the future. Hope, we need you." But Hope was gone. Bang! The wrecking ball smashed through the church, crushing the building. At that moment, Ebenezer sat up and realized that he'd been sleeping on the couch in his office. As Ebenezer hurried over to St. Bart's Church, the whirl of chickens producing eggs in his factory spun out of control. Smoke poured out of the factory windows as he hurried off to save the church. The wrecking ball was positioned to strike the church as Ebenezer yelled, "Wait! I was wrong! I thought Easter was all about eggs and candy, but it's not. It's all about hope. The hope that life isn't all there is, that dying isn't the end." Boom! Suddenly a loud noise was heard as the factory exploded and colorful plastic eggs filled the air. "What are you going to do now, Mr. Nezer?" asked little Edmund Gilbert. "I'm going to do what matters most," Ebenezer said. "I'll fix up the orphanage and make sure you get your medicine. After all, Easter is all about a new beginning."